first turning our attention to the Freedom Convoy in Canada. Last night, one of the Freedom Convoy organizers, Tamara Leitch, was arrested. Now, she is the organizer of the original GoFundMe crowdfunding campaign. Remember that? For the Trunker Convoy. Ottawa police also are now threatening to arrest journalists in the area. It's a democracy, right? Well, all media who are attending the area, please keep a distance and stay out of police operations for your safety. Anyone found within areas undergoing enforcement may be subject to arrest. There will be a media availability later today at 474 Elgin Street. Kind of like Orwellian, isn't it? Our Toronto correspondent, Michael Charbonne, has been covering this. He joins us now from Toronto. Michael.
Good afternoon, Bob. So far, they've had 22 arrests. They've towed away 21 trucks. And what street was it? There's a street Nicholas Street, that's right. They opened up Nicholas Street. What the police have done, they've created a corridor around the whole red zone. You can't get in, you can't get out. So there's no more fuel, no more wood, no more water, nothing. And what they're trying to do now is tighten the noose, as they say. They're continuing to make arrests. Trucks are starting to leave. And there are tow trucks there now who have had their identification covered up by a magnetic applique that says towing, and it has an RCMP logo on it. About 1,800 police officers are there. There has been no violence. Most of the people who are being arrested are just giving themselves over. They took control of a small school downtown to process people. They've got suspect wagons ready there to take people in and out. Some of the truckers are making a snow barrier, which is, hey, we're Canadian, big deal. You're putting some snow in a pile. But as you can see from those images, they are towing trucks away now, and they have a special ticket that they can go and obtain access to the compound to relieve them of their truck. But many of them are still standing steadfast. I mean, I spoke to many of them. They do religious services in the morning, and basically now they're like trapped animals, if one would say, held in that compound. I did an interview with Pat King yesterday, right in the epicenter. Pat was also arrested today. So Chris Barber, Tamara Leitch, and Pat King have all been arrested. Those are the three people who one would say are the organizers. And basically 1,800 police officials, or police officers, I should say, from different cities in Ontario are there joining with Ottawa police, and they're starting to make their move. Eventually what's going to happen, they will distill everybody down to that center area, the core area where I was reporting from yesterday. And that's when they'll basically tighten the noose, as one would say. Even Parliament was canceled today. And that's after, 10 inches of snow. For us, that's nothing. That's a regular snowfall in Canada.
Yeah, I know you are used to that. You're used to the cold weather, too. And, of course, we are not able to deal with any of the above. Thank you, Michael Charbonne. Our next guest warned that this could happen from the first day of the pandemic. Turning Point USA contributor and host of Rob Smith is Problematic, Rob Smith himself. Rob, what I'm noticing up there in Canada, a lot of people in the United States relate to these people because they're going out and putting their money where their mouth is and their time where their mouth is. They're even allowing themselves to be arrested, which if you look at the history of civil disobedience, you have to be willing to pay that price, right?
Absolutely.
And they are. But it seems to be working because in a lot of the provinces, they're removing the mandates.
Yeah, and this is the very definition of what civil disobedience is supposed to be. What we have right here going on in Canada is a populist movement of workers uniting against authoritarianism, right? The authoritarianism is, in this case, these vaccine mandates. This is what they're rising up against. And the interesting to me right now is when we look at what's going on in Canada, and these people were, this was the left, we're supposed to be tolerant, we're supposed to be inclusive, we're supposed to be nice. But what you're seeing right now is that this really is just a wolf in sheep's clothing. We are seeing their teeth right now as the state rises up and clamps down on a populist uprising of workers. So it is very deeply hypocritical. And I'm telling you, what is going on right here in Canada, this stuff could come to America.
Well,
we can see this stuff here.
There is talk that this is going to happen, a Freedom Convoy.
Yes.
What do you think that looks like if it happens?
What I think it looks like is I think that something similar is going to happen here. They will not clamp down on these people because Biden does not want the optics. They're already trying to ignore what's going on in Canada right now. Notice that the mainstream media has virtually ignored everything that's going on in Canada right now. If this comes to America, which it is about to, I think that you're going to see a lot of support for it, but what you are not going to see is local police forces and our journalists and media sort of trying to clamp down against that. It would look very bad for the Biden administration. So what they're going to try to do is try to pretend that they're on the side of the workers, because they pretend to be on the side of populism and unions and stuff like that, but they're really not. So it's a very delicate balance that this administration
They
has
lost the heartland of this country a long time ago, and that's where these folks are going to come from.
Yes.
And when I say heartland, by the way, there are people who live in California and New York. They're in rural areas, and they're hard workers. And I'm just taking a shot at those in the big cities. Okay.
Of course.
This was a scary development to me. Listen to what Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland had to say regarding accounts that are being frozen, financial accounts. Listen.
The names of both individuals and entities, as well as crypto wallets, have been shared by the RCMP with financial institutions, and accounts have been frozen, and more accounts will be frozen.
As an American, that makes my head explode.
Yeah.
I can't. By the way, they're doing this without warrants. Mm-hmm. Now, if this were to come to this country, again, my head explodes when I see that kind of thing, because that is like being a dictatorship. It's a king. We fought a war to get rid of a king.
Absolutely. And like I said, they're using the full force of the government. You know, these are emergency powers that are allowing them to do this,
That's
right?
the excuse.
This
That's
is
right.
basically, this is not even really legal at this point. This is basically martial law. And so this is very chilling, because this is what they're saying is this. If you support something with your own money financially that we do not like, that does not have the approval of the state, we will use the power of the state to freeze your bank account and to find out who you are, where you are, and how much you're donating. Remember, there was this awful story about this woman that was doxxed by journalists for a $40 donation.
Yes.
This is completely insane. And if we don't pay enough attention to what is happening in Canada right now, this stuff could come to America.
You know what gets me is the general message to me when I see this kind of thing happening is the government is not listening to the people. Mm-hmm. Now, the people may have elected them, and we only may get a say every 2 years or 4 years or 6 years, but they're supposed to listen to us the whole time.
But I think that they're running in the way that they accuse conservatives of running. I mean, this is literally, if this is not a dictatorship, I do not know what is. Right. So this is happening before our very eyes.
And he looks very weak when he's up there claiming, by the way, you know, trying to, if you want to support those with swastikas and Confederate flags. First of all, I'm not saying there wasn't an appearance of a flag, but there are all types of people out there. But don't generalize with everybody that's out there doing the hard thing. I'm going to change, just to have you here. It's always great to have you here in person. I wanted to throw this at you. Earlier today, you talked about the Will Thomas controversy after the transgender swimmer dominated the Ivy League women's 500-meter race. You tweeted, "Speaking up for the rights of biological women should not be at all controversial or unpopular. I cannot believe how weak the men of the left truly are, and I don't even date women. I can't believe liberal women are dealing with these losers." There was so much in there, I'm not sure I understood. It's too smartly worded for me. What are you saying?
Well, what I'm saying right now is that I can't believe, so look, this is what I think, and you know, call me traditional, whatever. I think that men should always be standing up for the rights of women, right? We should always be supporting women, protecting them. And there is a large contingent of these liberal men that are not standing up for the rights of biological women, because because they are afraid that they're
yes.
going to lose their liberal card or something
Well,
like that.
it's that woke crowd.
It's the woke crowd.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just, when did we get to the point where standing up for the rights of women is somehow controversial, right?
Well, it's when the left was taken over by those who may not identify either as a male or female.
Oh, yeah.
Now, there are folks that may want to live like that, but they're imposing their opinions and their thoughts on everyone else. When something as simple as, are you male or female? That's where you're going to compete, male or female.
And the thing about it is look, if people want, whatever, just don't have my tax dollars pay for it. But also, don't destroy women's spaces and don't destroy women's sports in the name of quote unquote equality, because it's always the women that lose in cases like this. Notice, there's no female to male transgender person that is dominating male sports, right? This only ever goes one way. Right. And if we do not start talking about the reality of biological sex and speaking up against this, it is just going to keep on compounding and keep on going.
All right, I want to ask you about the Douglas Society that you are starting today. Tell me about that.
Well, the Douglas Society, I'm wearing the shirt. That's
a cool shirt.
It's a cool shirt, right?
Yeah.
You can go to Douglas Society, that's with 2 S's as in FrederickDouglass.com. And so what this is the home of Black conservatism online. So look, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create content, and we're trying to aggregate the content that is out there to reach these sort of disaffected Black millennials. These could be Democrats, these could be progressives, these could be conservative-leaning people, but they know that Joe Biden is absolutely failing, right? Okay. And the thing that irritates me about the Republican Party sometimes is that we go out and we speak to Black voters 6 weeks before an election, and then if that vote doesn't go our way, we just decide that we're not going to talk to them anymore. So what I want to do with the Douglas Society is to create this space via content to make it the home of Black conservatism. We're on Instagram at Douglas Society with 2 S's as in Frederick Douglass. We're at DouglasSociety.com, and I encourage everybody, if you're out there, to go to the website, go to the Instagram, and see how you can contribute, get involved, and really follow us and support us.
All right, pleasure having you here.
Thanks so
much. Great
much.
seeing you. Love when you come to town, Rob.